Hi, welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The lockdown of Corona is creating havoc. The mental health is especially being affected. And I'm not bothered about other people, but I'm definitely bothered about kids. An empty brain is devil's workshop. So how to keep them engaged? They cannot keep on watching TV the whole day. So the best thing is that they should read more, enhance their knowledge, enhance their capability. But the question is a $1 million question, how to do so? The most difficult thing is to make a child read, especially if he's not addicted to reading. I remember by the time I was 4 years old, I was reading fluently. Now, this seems as likely or unlikely as my elders claim that I was a wonderful child and not many children are like that. But no, that's not that. My favorite place was a small corner in the courtyard of my house, and believe me, toilet. Toilet was one place where I could read undisturbed for as long as I wanted because nobody will disturb me and they'll think maybe I'm having constipation while I was enhancing my mental capability. Now, this is a fact which I'm stating for one simple reason that you can make your child read provided you make it interesting and innovative. And so I'm going to talk about tricks that the parents can adopt to make their children addicted to reading. And since I have been a voracious reader all my life, I know how I tricked myself into having this. My transformation into rather unpretentious sounding bibliophile has often got into very embarrassing situations. For a couple of years, I was in a boarding school and we had a demarcated area for toilets and showers. One evening, the suspicious matron turned to a dorm full of 50 students and said, "Who is moving the stool from the bathing area into the toilets?" Everybody was quiet. They were looking at me sheepishly and I raised my hand and said, "I'm doing so." Why? Why are you doing it? Have you an ankle problem? Can't you sit? I said, "No. I use my stool for other purposes, and that is I can place a book on that and I can read properly. Need you to use your hand for that purpose?" I simply shrugged my shoulders. The principal of the school happened to walk by. He had heard the whole thing, and believe me, he laughed like a hyena. I got the reprieve. Then I thought, later on, I explained to the teacher that to turn the pages of my book, I need a stool. So, needless to say, reading in the toilet and outside has remained a constant passion in my life. So, why not use that passion to arouse the same passion in the kids today? Today is far tougher to indicate the joy of reading in the children because we live in a tornado of internet where information is granted at the click of a button. But instead of making our kids smarter, internet is making them dumber and dumber. The Google is the one worst possible thing that could happen to make children useless. Their brain activity absolutely comes to a stop. They don't think, they know it. Anything they can go and get a reference on the Google. So why read at all? Just go there whenever you need an information. And right or wrong, you accept it as it's a command from the Almighty. Not that I believe in Almighty, but the people who do so. And in the whirling word of a blinking screen, a child is simply brain dead. You remember I talked to you that when you're watching TV, the waves of the brain are flat. It's not thinking. So If you want to rescue your child, the best thing is to make the child read. So the first thing you want to make the child read is be an extremist, not a terrorist, but an extremist. Yeah, kids are always watching what you do. And for example, if you don't want your child to be a smoker, there are two ways of accomplishing it. Either you commit to be a non-smoker absolutely, and the child who idolizes his father would become a non-smoker. Or you smoke 4 packets a day and possibly die of lung cancer, but going by your experience, your child will start hating the smoking gun in your lips and become a non-smoker. And by the same logic, you start a huge book bonfire like the Nazis so that your children try to make friends with the books. Now, I'm not saying you're going to burn it, but pick up a book and say, "Oh, what useless thing it is." You're arousing the curiosity in the child, and the child would say, well, my dad is saying this stupid thing. Let me see if it's really stupid. And now here comes the trick. The book should be absolutely interesting when you toss aside. The moment a child picks up the book, the illustrations, the stories, the print, the layout, everything should be such that the child cannot but read it. And then you can believe he'll say, wow, my dad doesn't know a thing. I'm going to read. And then gradually he'll become a reader. How would you like it? Maybe he'll think you to be a fool, but anyway, all children think the parents to be fools. So don't care about that. All parents are fools as far as the children are concerned, whether they say it or they don't say it. That's why Steinberg had said that every man, when his son becomes 35, should bid goodbye, not to the son, but to the world. So, second trick, unleash your talent side. Laugh, and the world laughs at you. Keep giving information, and eventually, nobody wants to listen to your monkey bath as the Prime Minister of India does it. So, don't take books on yourself so seriously. Have some fun instead. And when you are having fun, introduce reading at that time. When the child is having fun, and then you introduce something serious. And I tell you something very interesting. My son was to be admitted in class 1, but there was no seat in class 1, so they said he has to be admitted to class 2. Now, my wife took on herself that he must pass the examination. So she was preparing him for class 2 examination. And one day my son said, Mama, don't you understand that the children get bored? My wife smiled. We went to India Gate for ice cream. He had the ice cream, and then can you believe it? He became addicted. And today my son reads possibly more than I do. Third trick, let the children pick up their own poison. The worst thing parents do is don't read this novel. What are you doing with poetry? Study physics. Why are you reading a novel? Read Ramayana, Gita, Granth. What nonsense. Why? If a child reads a novel, that's something great, and novels are the mirrors of society. If a child is reading poems, look at the lyricism and look at the beauty. But the parents, foolish as the children know they are, and I agree with them here, always think that reading must be serious with capital S. Nothing can be more stupid than that. Let the child read what the child wants to read. Don't force your ideas. And 99.9% parents try to force yourself. Sometimes a getaway drug is important. I'm not referring to cannabis as an entry point, but I'm saying if the child wants to read Arabian tales, then what's wrong with that? Nobody can ever tell me. I would read anything, right from a waste paper in which things have been wrapped, a wrapping paper. to a serious book. And then I graduated from reading detective novels to reading scriptures, all the Vedas, Shastras, Uttar Mimamsa, Dakshin Mimamsa. I read Euripides, Sophocles, Aristotle, Plato, Dostoevsky, Ortega y Ortega, Kalidasa, name it, and I read. But then I loved novels. There's an age for everything. Now, if you ask a 12-year-old girl not to read Mills and Boons, that is being idiotic. So let the children pick up their poison. Second, and the fourth thing, we worship books, in India especially. They have a goddess called Saraswati. You have to love books, don't worship them. I know some friends of mine, they want a book to be pristine pure, no turning of the page, no dog earring, don't put a pencil in that. If I would like to put a gun in the pages of the book as a bookmark. Let the children fold corners, underline books to look up later, scribble in the margin, or read while grabbing a snack, even if the book has sometimes the book may have crumbs of bread and jam stains. And let the Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, go to sleep. Don't bother about her. You can be sure if the children start putting a book and light a candle before it and burn incense, the goddess is not going to come and help them. But if they read, goddess would be their servant. And now, the fifth trick, put on the game face. Don't take books seriously. You see, what happens is, when you take anything seriously, children always have an aversion to the series and they know that this is something really to be avoided. So, while sitting and reading with the children, be on the same page, not only of the book, but also of thought. And if you are reading a book, wait for the child to catch up with you. Don't rush. And then you would see when you don't rush, you start to pause, and then you prompt the child to read. There'll be a sort of undeclared war who reads faster. There'll be a fierce competition, and the child will race through the book. Every second page, which is interesting. Of course, if the book is absolutely rotten, he won't or she won't read. And there would be time when you're putting it as a game where you lose. See, child, you are reading much better than I am. Prompt the child to read more. You would find that this game of reading more, reading faster, reading more comprehensively, understanding, discussing. And after you have read, why not ask, uh, hey, kiddie, I forgot what I read. Why don't you tell me what I read? And the child will recapitulate all that and tell it to you. Now, can anything be better? You don't have to tell the child to remember it, repeat it. Let the child repeat of his own volition. Some of the stories the child reads will be well crafted and revolve around evil scientists and the extant bats. That's interesting. Harry Potter was successful only because of the witchcraft. I don't enjoy Harry Potter, but the children won't. So if the children want to enjoy Harry Potter, why not? When I enjoyed Sherlock Holmes, possibly my elder brother would say, "Shah, what's in that?" And I would say, "Well, look here, that's elementary, my dear brother. You cannot understand. You don't have that capability." So if you want to make sure that your kids are smarter than their classmates, then be sure that they should be smarter than their phones, smarter than their smart watches. And the best way is still by using an old fashioned tool. And that old fashioned tool is a printed book, a device that doesn't have to be changed every year. Your smartwatch, a new edition would come. Your cell phone, a new edition comes. You upgrade them. Books don't have to be upgraded, they retain their virginity. And unlike the internet where you get data at almost speed of a light, a book gives you time enough to transform information into knowledge. So that's important. Internet gives you information. Books would give you knowledge through information. They will provide you time to transform this information into knowledge. And then the third step, assimilate that knowledge into wisdom. So three steps: information, knowledge, wisdom. That's what a book should do. And unlike a gadget, a book doesn't fall apart when it falls in a little water. So keep plenty of books in the bathrooms, in the toilet, and truly the best place to read is, as I said, the washroom. As long as children don't copy another young reader and lose their balance while sitting on a stool in the washroom, it's great. And once your child is hooked to reading, believe me, you would be happiest person around because there'll be no comparison. Think about it. Adoption. Thank you.